Hello, my name is Roshan Narayan, and thank you for joining us on In20. If you're watching us on YouTube, do
that back four and protect and pass the ball very, very simple. He is brilliant. If you put leg.
Danny, is that a brand new iPhone 12 you're using right now? Yes? No?
No, you keep breaking up, Roshan. I don't know why.
I don't know why, but we are live. We're going to go on with the show no matter what. But this is what technology is all about. Whether it works or whether it doesn't work, it's all boiling down to whether it's going to help us in the right way or the wrong way. And I am referring to VAR. It was introduced to make our lives better as football fans, but has it done the complete opposite? As in, does VAR promote cheating?
You sound like a Dalek, Roshan. I've got no idea what you said at all.
Excellent, fantastic. Let me show you how this works with live footage. It's written there on your rundown. VAR, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
I can hear you now, and I don't know why.
You can hear me? Finally, fantastic. I think it might be our technology on our end. But yes, Danny, going back to the question, VAR introduced to benefit all of us as football fans and as football players. But for some strange reason, it's not exactly working out.
No, VAR was brought in to get things right, to help out referees, and it doesn't work because the referees are interpreting it badly. It's not VAR, it's the interpretation, it's the referees, it's the way they're using this system, which is completely wrong. And that's the problem that you have. You know, there still has to be a moment of human judgment, but still nobody is held accountable for anything that they do. Nobody is held accountable for any decision that they make. And therefore, we have a problem.
We do have a problem. I hope and pray you can hear me because we're experiencing this for the very first time. But does it promote cheating, a VAR? Because everything looks worse in slow motion. You can't hear me right now. That's a breakdown in communication. And when you see something visually that you and I can figure out, yes, it's a penalty, or no, it's not a penalty, the decisions made by the referee are completely the total opposite.
Yeah, I mean, you take some of the decisions at the weekend, you know, when the referee gives a penalty against Manchester United, he's convinced that's a penalty. You know, he's seen it, he's gone with his experience, he's gone with his gut reaction, all those things going through his head, he says, penalty. He then obviously gets something from the VAR official that says, I don't think it was. And, you know, and we need to hear that conversation, because what is that conversation saying? What is the VAR official saying? Does he say, go and have a look at it? Or does the VAR official say, that's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. You've got it wrong. You need to go and check it. Because then you've got all sorts of problems. Because instantly you've got a conflict. One referee is saying one thing, another is saying the other. And the referee on the pitch is thinking, well, hang on a minute. This guy's seen this 3 or 4 times on the replay. Everybody else has now seen it at home and around the world. So therefore, I'm under pressure to change my mind. So before he's even gone towards that monitor, he's already thinking, I've got to change my mind. I've got to change my mind. And I think that's what we're seeing. 95% of the time, referees, you know, are going with what the VAR official, you know, has suggested.
Okay. So when you do say that, then doesn't that completely go against the rules of the game, as in the nature of what football is all about? Do you agree that everything looks worse in slow motion? Yes or no question?
Definitely. Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
So now if I'm an attacker or if I'm anywhere on the field, let alone be it a manager instructing his players to do so, I know everything in slow motion is going to look bad. So I can actually buy a foul, even if it's the simplest touch, my foot against my opponent.
I completely agree. So one simple solution with this, you get 3 replays, all in real time. And if you can't make your mind up from that, you go with your referee's initial decision. That can't be that complicated, because you have to assume, because we are talking, this is supposed to clear up clear and obvious errors. Yeah. If it's not clear and obvious after watching it 3 times at real speed, then it's not clear and obvious, is it? So go with the referee's initial decision. And I think then you bring back into it a bit of human error, a bit of experience, all these types of things, because we can look at it time and time again as players, ex-players, pundits, and we don't always agree. So we want to speed up the process. And you're right, slow motion makes things look an awful lot worse than what. And then you're going, well, did he get the slightest of contacts on the ball? Did he get the slightest of contacts on the player? If it's the slightest of contacts, it's not enough to change the decision.
So if you can just summarize that in less than 2 minutes, why aren't the officials doing something about it? Should the FA step in? I mean, we spoke about this in a previous episode on who makes these rules and what it means for the rest of the league, especially in England. But there has to be a point in time where, okay, take for example what happened in the United game, as we were talking about before we started the show. Oh my God, how bad was that?
The problem is that they would have to have a big climb down as to what they've done previously. Because obviously before they've looked at it and they've thought, right, okay, this is the way we're going to go. Now they're going to have to sort of reverse those decisions and go back and go, okay, maybe what? And they have to admit they got it wrong. And that seems incredible that they won't do that at the moment. And it's really, really poor. Maybe FIFA have to get involved, UEFA, the FA, whoever it is. But at the moment, it's incredibly, some of the decisions we are seeing are incredibly poor. And it's ruining the game.
And it could ruin someone's career, or be it a manager or be it a football club. Take, for example, that United game. That team has lost 3 points. Now, come the end of the season, they could or could not beat that, during the relegation battle. By all means, we don't know. But it could cost someone survival, which is a lot of money in this modern day.
It is. But what worries me the most is that referees are very reliant, and linesmen, assistant referees, very, very reliant on VAR. So therefore, they've got a backup. Their skills at the moment don't have to be as good as they used to be, because they know if they make a mistake, they've got a backup. And I think that's actually making referees worse at the moment. So there's a problem in itself. You've got to go back to giving the on-field referee, yesterday I was watching Martin Atkinson. Let him use his experience. Let him use his understanding of the game. If Pierluigi Collina came back into this, do you think he would be going to VAR all the time and saying, oh no, I'm going to go with the guy sat in the office, that's looking at a monitor? No, I know what I saw. I believe in my decision. Unless I am completely wrong, I'm sticking with it. And I think that's what we want to see.
But what we're seeing right now is people such as you and myself in our industry talking about it, because it helps generate talking points. It helps generate money for us. But that's not what this was brought in for, was it? Unless it is to make the game more interesting.
It was supposed to clear up the bad decisions, and the real clear and obvious errors of the game that referees were making. It was supposed to get rid of those. I don't think it has. I think it made more contentious issues, throughout football and throughout sport. And often because we now get letter of the law. Was there contact? Yes. Therefore, technically, it's a penalty. But was there enough contact for that player to go down? No, not always, not necessarily. So now it's almost like we are now, forget about humans, forget about footballers, forget about experience, forget about, refereed the game for 20, 30 years, forget about played the game for 20, 30 years. We are now getting, you are 1 millimetre over the line, no discretion, that's it. And I think Kevin De Bruyne summed it up brilliantly. For the first 9 years of football that he played, or 12, whatever he said, there were no rule changes. In the last 2 years, there's been about 20. And that can't be right.
Is that down to people who are paid in certain levels of the game at certain institutions, and they have to justify why they're getting paid this amount of salary? I'm not trying to get you into trouble, Danny, but at the end of the day, idiotic decisions come from overpaid clowns. So is there a correlation there?
I think people they're trying to make the game more entertaining. They're trying to cut out errors. They're trying to rectify mistakes. But they've gone about it in totally the wrong way. It's simply not working, is it, at the moment? And this is, the handball. The laws of football are the same throughout the world, but they're all being interpreted differently at the moment. How can that be? There should be one interpretation of the law, as simple as that. And then everybody knows what it is. Why don't we just go back to the fact that, okay, let's go, if it's below your elbow, it's handball. No matter where it is, that's it. And we all accept that. So we can all see it. If it's below the elbow, if it hits your foot, that's end of. Simple. We just need clarification at the moment, because there are so many anomalies. There are so many different decisions. There are so many variations of the laws of the game at the moment. Nobody knows what's going on.
So if you were now these people and you've seen that performance by the match official in that game at Old Trafford, how would you discipline him? Because I came across an article that said that he was pulled from the Liverpool game because they weren't exactly happy with his performance against, the game between Everton and Liverpool, where Van Dijk was injured. Then he was supposed to be in the VAR room. Something happened there, and he was now the official for this particular game. How would you handle the situation? Would you punish him? Would you do something, or just say, like, you know what, on to the next game?
I think the best thing, and I think the best thing to do, is to make these referees accountable, and they have to come out and explain their decisions, and they might have to do that through an intermediary. These are professionals, so surely they should have to go to their superior and say, right, this is why I made the decision, to Mike Riley. He then comes out on a Monday morning and he explains exactly why that decision was changed. Why can't we hear the conversation between the VAR official and the referee? What are they scared of? Why are they so worried about us, about the media, the public, the fans? Why are they so worried? If they are convinced they've got that decision right, why are they concerned about everybody hearing that conversation? It shouldn't be an issue in the slightest, should it?
It's in rugby. It happens in rugby.
Of course, yeah. And it happens live in the stadium. It happens in American football, where everybody hears the dialogue between the officials and what's going on. If you are convinced you are getting the right decision, it's irrelevant. So you should be quite happy for everybody to hear and say, well, okay, I saw a touch on the ball. I thought I saw a touch on the ball. Did I see it? Can you confirm that? We're looking at it back. There's the slightest touch on the ball, but that's not enough to give a penalty. Okay, fine. And then we all understand what's going on. At the moment, we're just seeing these decisions and going.
True. You know who else did that? Jose Mourinho. A few months ago, he slammed VAR. He's right again. And could he be right on track to win the Premier League title with Tottenham?
Oh, what a performance from Tottenham. I mean, it was a Jose masterclass, wasn't it? I couldn't believe, I think, Tottenham were, with all the bookies, were 3-1 to outsiders to win that game. Yep. In great form. Mourinho puts his teams together. Klopp, Guardiola, coaches his teams, improves what he's got, changes it from the inside. Mourinho changed it from the outside. Nobody in the top six really was looking at Pierre Højbjerg, but he's brought him in to do a job. Come in, break things up, get blocks in, get tackles in, and do this job for me. What we saw, Makelele do. He's not as good as Makelele, but that type of position. Just do your. Don't worry about scoring. Don't worry about assists. Just come in and do this job for me, and that's all I want. And he's got two centre halves. He's not asking them to do anything special. Just defend. I know they've maybe got a little lack of pace, but defend and do your job. Fullbacks, not overly concerned about you attacking at times. I want you to be good defenders. And Sissoko, strong, powerful. And then he can allow the front four to just go and play. And that's effectively what Jose has always done with his teams. So I think Jose's starting to build something. He's got his mojo back. He's got that verve. He's got that twinkle in his eye, and that should be concerning for everybody else.
And that should be concerning if you were a United fan or United, the upper brass, when you go like, he's doing it again. Why couldn't he have done it with us? Why didn't he do it with us? Ha ha ha. So, come on.
Well, because this is, you've now got, he's ostracised Dele Alli, He's not really in the squad in any way, shape or form. He did that to players at Manchester United. Harry Kane is now working his socks off. Harry Kane is dropping back. It's not just about scoring goals for Harry Kane. Son was playing right wing at one stage. Steven Bergwijn was playing left midfield, both of them. It was almost 4-4-2, and a very, very deep line block as well. So, there's something about Mourinho when he gets players want to win. And when you're winning, it's great. And I think at Manchester United, he was never really allowed to bring in the players that he wanted to. It isn't the most attractive football to watch at times, but it's winning football.
Well said, Mr. Danny Mills. You were talking about Harry Kane and how he's evolved under Jose Mourinho. You mentioned at the end of last season when we just started the show that Aubameyang should have left Arsenal. He had one big contract left. He should have gone to another country, maybe another league, and tried out his talent over there. What has happened to him? He stayed back, and he's nowhere close to what he was.
No, and I think he had one chance in the game yesterday. I think Arsenal were very, very fortunate yesterday against Leeds. The sending off, stupidity from Pepe almost papers over the cracks. Leeds dominated that game. They absolutely battered Arsenal. But because they got a man sent off early in the second half, it's easier for Mikel Arteta to say, look, we had 10 men. We had no choice but to sit back. We defended well. We were resolute. Poor finishing from Leeds, is why Arsenal got away with that game. Arteta has improved the team, but not as much, I don't think, as people say he has. They are slightly better, but they are not dramatically better than what they were under Arsene Wenger or what they were under Unai Emery. So, and Aubameyang, Arteta is not getting the best out of him at the moment.
Okay, if you were Aubameyang and if you watch him play in Dortmund, he played on the left, he played on the right, he played up front. That's why he made a name for himself. He started Arsenal up front as well. But you need a bit of creativity to go along with him. Back in Dortmund, he had the likes of Marco Reus supplying that. He's come over to Arsenal. There was Ozil at the start. I mean, not the most regular player, but he was still there. Don't you think if Ozil was playing just right behind him and just distributing the ball to either one of these front three, that'd be more productive for them?
I don't understand why Ozil's at least not in the squad. Why would you not have him on the bench? You're under the cosh. You've got 10 minutes to go. You need to create something. I'll bring on Ozil. He might put in a free kick. He might score something. He might just give you something a little bit different, within that, with fresh legs, as other players getting tired. He's a fantastic player. He's a creative player. Aubameyang was starved of service, probably because of, Leeds work incredibly hard, and what they do within that.
Yeah, but you need an X factor, Danny. That's what Ozil brings.
And at the moment, you have to say, is Mikel Arteta getting the best out of Lacazette, Aubameyang, Nicolas Pepe? No, he's not. And these are sensational international players.
And if you were Nicolas Pepe and you realize that, okay, I finally got an opportunity to play, I've done this, that does show you something about his mentality, or is he just frustrated as well?
No, he's a complete idiot. End of.
Okay. Thank you very much, Danny. I know we got started off on a very rocky foot with all our technical issues, but that's what you do when you go live. It's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. I shall see you next week. And if you've been watching us on the Rocky Post or on our YouTube channel, do hit the subscribe button and do also follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter account. Till the next time, take care.